There are two types of well, the types of tests, statistical tests that we're going to choose uh, has two streams in terms of difference and association. The only problem with this is that this came from one source in the internet, and at first I saw I thought that it was the most logical way of explaining things, but then truthfully, uh, some of um, the way that it was organized is new to me, so I'm having difficulty actually making the lessons for this, and especially some of the formulas here are also very new to me, so I still have to learn them. Um, that's why I decided that maybe it's not my knowledge of statistics is not really that good. No? So I decided to just use instead a very simple method of um, trying to figure out in what statistical test to use, and then I will only limit it to these seven. These tests are very simple. Some of them we already tackled, like test for a mean is actually the t test, and test for proportions. Um, and you can actually just learn them by researching them yourself. So in YouTube, they have step-by-step explanation, which is, I think, it's better than my explanation. But then you have to know first. You The only reason that we meet here is at least to let you know which test should be used for a particular problem. Okay, so right now I'm now in Davao City. No? I'm in my own home, and in a subdivision where you have dogs barking at the background. Um, so to choose the statistical test, you only need to ask three questions. One about data, then second about samples, and then the purpose. So in data, the question is what level of measurement was used for the data you are analyzing. And then for the sample, you're going to ask yourself how many samples do you have, and then the purpose. What is the purpose of your analysis? And then the answer to these three questions will determine what type of um, statistical test will be used from the seven that I showed you earlier. So in terms of data, there are just two types of data, nominal or interval ratio. Now, there is actually, when we go back to the slides earlier, there is an ordinal data aside from nominal and interval. So here, there's nominal, ordinal, interval. But I will limit my presentation now to nominal and interval because the ordinal is uh, well, it's a bit special, and it's not as frequently used as nominal and interval ratio. Um, Nominal are also called categorical or qualitative or parametric. For example, the color or the something that is descriptive. No? And nominal summary values are normally presented as frequencies or proportions or percentages. Okay, and then actually we already discussed this in the start of the semester. No? Interval ratio is also called quantitative. Examples are daily sales, weight, temperature. And then the most common summary value is the mean. So from the uh, list of the statistical test that I showed earlier, so this group here on the left are the tests that you will use if your data is non-nominal. So test for proportion, difference of two proportions, and then chi-square test for independence. If your data is interval or ratio, um, you either used a test for a mean, a difference of two means using independent samples, regression analysis, or the difference of two means, uh, paired paired samples. Okay. So second question is about sample. So you either have any of these three. Okay, you either have one sample to test to the relevant statistics against a hypothetical value. So there is one sample that you're going to compare to another value. Then there are two samples being compared with each other, or you have one sample but each observation has a measure or score for more than one variable. So you have one sample but two measurements. Okay, so we'll see that later in the uh, explanations. Now, going back to the arrangement of the statistical tests earlier, um, if you only have one sample, so the statistical tests that you will use are either test for proportion or test for a mean. Okay, if you have two samples, so the statistical tests are either difference of two proportions or difference of two means using independent samples. And then the chi-square test for independence, regression analysis, and difference of two means using paired samples is what you use if you have one sample but two or more measurements. So take note of the arrangement that of the way that the statistical tests are arranged. So, for example, if your data is nominal, so you have these three here. And then if it is nominal and then the sample is only one, therefore the choice would be only be this test for proportion. Okay. But then we have another question which is about purpose. So we also apply that so that we can really narrow in to that one particular test that we are going to use. So on purpose, we only have either a test. The purpose is to test against a hypothesized value, or the purpose for the analysis would be to compare to statistics, or the third is the purpose might be to look for a relationship. Okay, um, relationship between two items. No, and then here I have to use color because to test against a value, you consider this color green, which forms a letter L. So um, all the tests, statistical tests that fall under that area belongs to this purpose to test against value. So you will use test for proportion, test for a mean, or the difference of two means um, paired. No? And then if we are comparing two statistics, so the statistical tests that fall under the red area, it can be used. No? Difference of two proportions or difference of two means using independent samples. And then finally, if you're looking for a relationship, okay, so dili pang Valentine's na relationship, no? Um, so the area within the blue field, the chi-square test for independence and regression analysis will be used. So so if you have those three no tests, so using this chart that I'm showing you, you can easily hone into the particular test. So you will really get only one of these. Now, okay, so that's basically my presentation. And then uh, after this, I'll be putting up, I'll be posting the final requirement part one. Okay, so there are two parts. So the first part, you have, because instead of giving you the examples, you're going to have to like apply what you learned earlier to a particular quiz. Okay, so the first part is a quiz, but it's not graded. Okay, so it's not graded. And then the particular quiz is supposed to teach you. So it's more of a learning method, no? Teach you how to apply what I mentioned earlier, especially in the use of the charts. Um, then you have to go through all of those. There are going to be seven sample problems, and in each problem you will be asked, okay, so what is the data, what is the sample, and then what is the purpose, and finally we'll be asked, okay, so which of the statistical tests will be used if you have all of those three things, no? If you have this data, you have this sample, you have this purpose, and then so therefore four questions per example, that makes 28 questions. Okay, but please go through it, and take your time, because it will help. Okay, and then it's required before you can actually take the pre or the part two of the final requirement. So this is individual. So a lot of your grade will be taken from this, plus a group grade from your report, which is I think due today. No? But although it's due today, you can still submit anytime. Uh, well, the grades are due in January 3. So you have to you have to give me time, no? Maybe until December 31, you have to complete all of these requirements, the group reports, and also these individual final requirements, the two parts. Okay, you have to submit them all by December 31, so that I can have time to go over them and then submit in December 3. But if you can submit earlier so that we can enjoy our holiday vacation, so I don't have to work during the new year computing your grades. Okay. Um, so any questions, especially for your reports, before I'll end our session? So no questions. Everyone is silent. Is everyone eating already?
Sir, just to clarify, we won't be late if we submit after tonight the reports.
No, you won't be late. Just recently, I decided on this policy that those who submit on time will be rewarded, but those who submit late will not be punished, no, because that's the policy of the university now, that we will not penalize late submissions. So if you cannot submit tonight, I'll make sure that the portal is still open until December 31. So, but again, I think December 31 is really the final deadline, because I really don't want to spoil my new year also. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So the I think Emilio had a question about the format for the video and the format for the write up. Okay. So the write up is basically very technical, the research paper format, but then the video um, is more flexible, because all you need to do is really to explain it, uh, to explain the gist of the report. No, you don't have to use uh, the what do you call it, the outline. You can be more flexible in the report. So just imagine yourself being asked to go to the front of the classroom and then asked to report what you've written down, and then later submit what you've written down. So I forgot if I made a. I don't think I gave a maximum time, no, for the presentation, but try to keep it short because otherwise it might get very boring. Okay, so let's have dinner already. Um, sir, for coming in late, sir, wala gyud ko signal. Sorry. Okay, so no problem, Cherry Ann. This session is recorded, so I'll be uploading the recording later. But if again the recording was assigned to you, please immediately send it back to me by making me the owner or an editor of the file so that I can upload it in YouTube, because otherwise I'll keep on waiting for you, okay, to do that so that I can upload it. Okay, so with this, I want to greet again everyone. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and good luck, and hope to see you um, next semester. No, I still don't know my load for the graduate program next semester. Okay, so goodbye and good night.
Merry
Thank
Christmas,
you,
sir.
sir. Merry Christmas, sir.
Bye, sir. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, sir. Happy New Year.
Merry
Bye.
Christmas.
Christmas. Bye, sir.
Bye.
Gift na ako, gift.
Merry Christmas, sir. God bless.
Merry Christmas. Padala niyo yung gift, sir. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
Thank you. I Merry Christmas.
Wow!
It's beautiful.
Hindi. Miss pa doon?
Ate Cindy. Ma'am Cindy. Ang nagsindi nito silaw.
I see.
Walang iba.
Sisa Bandaw.